eating ice cream the other day when I saw your wife. She said,
Cheers.
Unmute. There we go.
Check on me in October. We'll see how this is really going.
The good thing is he likes to see me, so.
He does. I always tell him that I'm going to the Mr. Chad meeting. It's really exciting.
I gotta go up. Oh, here, he gets. How old is he? 5? That's pretty damn good for a 5-year-old.
Folks, would you all rise for the pledge and then we will move forward. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yep, Robin Vaughn. Here. Lodo Johnson.
Here.
Katie Johnston.
Here.
Diana Mendoza.
Here.
Nikki Pettit.
Here.
Tyler Wilson.
Here.
I guess I can go home.
Did you call Mr. Bellington?
Hold on a second. Oh, John Brotherton.
Here, present, ma'am.
Sorry. Oh,
Okay.
did I get everybody? Did I get you, Tyler? I'm sorry. That's gonna be on the recording.
It's all right. It's your first year's back. Gotta get back to swing.
It was not much, it didn't go well with me in charge last time, so
So it was all right.
there's a lot of clicking. Okay.
Okay. Item number 2, action agenda, additions, corrections, modifications.
We just need a motion to approve the agenda.
We'd like to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, Robin Vaughn. Aye. Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Nikki Pettit.
Aye.
Tyler Wilson.
Aye.
Moto Johnson.
Aye.
John Brotherton.
Aye. No one signed up, I don't think, so no public comments. So I guess we'll move on to number 4, right? Action, consent agenda items.
All right, there's a few things I want to go over. One is, there's a new document I've included in the packet for the bills treasurer's report. And that is our sales tax revenue history. The donations, I'm happy to share that Mr. Paul Wolters donated a used trumpet, clarinet, and bassoon to the J.W. Ader band program. Mr. Walters is a retired RCS music teacher. Some of you know him. J.W. Ader's school improvement plan is included for approval. This is the state form they have to submit in order to allocate grant funds. And item F and G are regarding the closed session minutes. And so those are items that are on here semi-annually. Item H, I want to share was my mistake last month. We had to do the revisions on the Title IX and complaint managers. When Hannah went in to update all of the policies, we didn't have all of the policies listed. We only had 2 of them. So it now says all policies referencing the complaint manager and Title IX coordinators. So now we've got it cleared up, I think. So, all right. Any questions on those? Otherwise, a motion?
Yes. Someone like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda items, including personnel report is submitted with the stipulation that each individual is required to comply with all requirements for new hires as indicated in Illinois statutes and RCS board policy and procedures, including ratification of bills prepaid by the finance manager under board policy 450.
I guess that's a good job with that. I think he should just be the person to every time. What do you think, Tyler?
It's up to the board president.
Well,
Okay. Is there a second, though? That's the most important part.
I'll second.
Go ahead. Katie seconds it. Katie John. Thank you, Katie.
Okay, Katie Johnston.
Aye.
John Brotherton.
Aye.
Diana Mendoza. Aye. Moto Johnson.
Aye.
Tyler Wilson.
Aye.
Robin Vaughn. Aye. Nikki Pettit.
Aye.
Okay. Can we go to 6? Is that the next one?
And Sam, do you want to come up to the speaker chair, not that you're presenting anything, but I did ask Sam to be here this evening. Actually, you can just talk from there, I think, or it's.
That's fine.
I did ask Sam to be here tonight, just in case the board had any questions for him or I about this item. But Sam has been running the DREAM, the program that I think you're all familiar with that. It's a very big program at Broadmeadow. But he also, part of DREAM has been a parent mentoring program. And that has been at Broadmeadow and East Lawn so far. So the funding from the state has, Sam anticipates, it's expanding greatly to where we will have the parent mentoring program in how many buildings?
Total of 4,
Okay. So, I mean, which school won't have it, do we think?
Northview.
Northview, okay. And then, so Sam, tell us what we're doing here, I guess.
Okay, so, and thanks for having me, and man, it's hot outside. But, so what's happening is the parent mentor program, we were able to secure a bigger line item in the state budget, right? So typically we're awarded $8 million. This year we were awarded $14 million, right? And this is statewide. So our little piece here in Rantoul has allowed me to ask for, to be able to be in 2 additional schools. And so that was approved. As Dr. Woods mentioned, it'll be Broadmeadow, East Lawn, Pleasant Acres, and J.W. Ader. And so what has now happened, along with that great news, is I have, with the encouragement of Tracy Dace, founder of DREAM, created my own foundation, community organization. It's called NIA, N-I-A. So NIA, which is the Swahili word for purpose. And so what I'm doing is taking the parent mentor program from DREAM, right, and putting it under that, under this new organization. I still work for DREAM, right? Still do the 18 other million things that is on my plate there. But we felt like in the restructure of DREAM, we need to have a separate division or separate entity handle, in quotes, the adults. And so that's the parent mentor program. So shorten that up a little bit is my ask is as we're already in agreement, partnership with the city school, but NIA being a new organization has very little to zero cash flow, right? On hand cash. And as most of you know, all of you know, grants tend to be, it's reimbursement. So the expenses that I incur, like salaries for my 4 coordinators, my supplies and so forth, I would have to front that and then submit for reimbursement. So what I'm asking of the board here is to allow for an agreement between NIA and the board of $20,000 so that I have access to, to take care of the day-to-day, month-to-month needs. Pay that back.
So the MOU, which we have, and also I do want to share that while this sounds unusual, it's not unusual. This is something that we actually did with DREAM, if I recall, when DREAM started up. So this is not a gift to NIA. Sam is paying it all back, and there's a timeline for him to do that. But it's going to allow him to get the program started while he waits for his reimbursements from the state. And so there's also language in that MOU about the partnership and some of the things that'll be happening. So
How would this get paid back?
now he's going to write us a check. Yeah. So from his organization, not
From
him
the
personally.
Right.
Yeah. So in the MOU, I think it says the date. Do you remember the date?
It was through December of 23.
Yeah, so that's the latest we would expect to get reimbursed from Sam, but it may be earlier depending on the revenues from the state that come in.
So you're just waiting on the state?
As it kind of sort of. So the way it works, where it has worked, is, so I submit my expenditures each month, and then it's usually a 30-day turnaround. So for instance, we start August 1, right? So I'll incur some expenses, right? By September 10th, I have to submit my expenditures, for the August, for the month of August. And then, they pay pretty quick, but it's usually up to 30 days.
So it could be October
It could
before
be
you get
October
reimbursed for
Before you
August.
get your first,
So
Is this on ongoing? Sorry, go ahead.
what happens if you get paid back later? Like, I don't know how it is with the state, but I know with the government in my job, former job. I got a job. The government can sometimes pay you back way late. So then what happens if the state, because we're broke, right, pays you back way late? Will he be penalized, or is there a way for us to go through the school year? Like, does it have to
Yeah, I
be-
mean, this is in a lot of ways a friendly agreement because Mr. Hall has worked with our district for quite some time. So we didn't get into anything super formal. I don't know that anyone coming in saying, hey, I just got a grant, can you help me out? We would do it with. But we did do it with Dream. That's the one I can think of. And it's really just a cash flow issue with how grants work. So once NIA is up and established, this will not be recurring because once it's like, if Sam comes to us in another year and says, I can't make ends meet, that's a whole different issue. And that's Sam's problem.
right. And just so you know, some of the other things, I do have other funding sources coming in, but again, it's mainly grants, right? So until the donors and the sponsors kick in, and I'm brand new in the sense of since March is when it got official. So in doing the legwork to develop, cash flow, that's one of my priorities.
And I think back to Nikki's question, I felt like I avoided answering it.
You did.
If it's December 31st and it's not paid, then it would become more complicated and we would likely start having to get attorneys involved and that kind of thing, too. But the MOU is a contract. So the MOU is signed by both parties. It's a very simple contract. So there is no language in there that says this is what happens if you don't pay. But there's.
Right, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I trust that he would pay, but if he's not able to because he isn't reimbursed or given money from the state
Yep.
in a timely manner, that would not be his fault.
Right. I think it would have to come back to the board to determine what we would want to do.
An extension.
Right, that's why I was just wondering if he could get.
That would be the board would have to take additional action at that point.
Is the grant agreements part of the MOU as like collateral? Like we have a grant agreement showing that he's been approved for his grants?
I bet Sam can provide that for us.
I can show you right now, but yes, I can.
He'll email it to me and we'll include it with the minutes, I guess, is what we can do. Okay.
Only comment I would make is from just what I was seeing from the board, if there is a problem, I think we surely can take care of that. I don't think we're gonna have to say, no, Sam. Bad, Sam, you did.
We know where you live. So.
This line of credit's only through December.
We appreciate just what you're doing.
Yes, December 31st.
There's no interest on this at all, correct?
It's also, keep in mind, this is to provide a direct service to our students.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, and it's already an established program in 2 schools.
Yeah.
Oh,
In fact,
why not, before you in fact, why not Northview? Why does Northview always get the shaft?
that's a good question.
I know.
So there are a number of reasons for Northview not being in this round. From what I hear, I'll say it this way, Northview has a huge, a better support, better support system inside the building than the 4 that I mentioned. Now, Broadmeadow and East Lawn were started prior to me taking over with Dream. but Pleasant Acres has some challenges as well as the junior high.
You mean with parent involvement?
The parent involvement, right. So not to rule out Northview, actually this summer we were having Northview students and so forth. So we're not trying to exclude, but maybe next year. And really 2, 3, almost 4 years ago, when I was I was approached, well, how come it's just Broadmeadow High School? I said, just give it some time. And so here, 2 years now, we're able to double.
Are you looking for registration?
Yes.
Okay, go around, down Wabash, go back down Wabash Avenue to the other end of the school.
All right, thank you.
Or Hannah will take you through.
Yes.
All right, come on through. We're in a board meeting, you're being recorded. Welcome, you're here to register. We are a school. Jenny will take you. Jenny will take you.
So much.
Thank
Hannah
you.
can still click the
No
button.
problem. Thank you for doing it.
All right.
You can watch
Hannah
later.
is gonna take it.
All right,
So in 2 years, we were able to double, right? And that was largely because of the money that we received. So we get more money, I can guarantee I'll pass. I'll say it that way.
and how many, when I went and met with you towards the end of the year with the parent mentors, how many parent mentors did you have this year?
At the time, 16. And so we'll look to have an additional 16 going forward. And I mean, it's a fantastic program. I mean, I can, how much time we have? Some of them have gotten comfortable and developed enough where they're comfortable applying to be professionals in the district, and that's in process. Some have moved on to other careers. And this, a lot of times, we take parents who aren't working currently, who may not even have a resume or even a desire to work. So in just a short 9 months, we're able to give them the confidence and the tools to go out into the workforce, as well as affect the lives of our Rantoul City School students and community. So, yeah, if you ever want to see us in action, just let me know. We'll give you a tour.
So what do they actually do?
What are actually good questions?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
and these are paid people, right?
No, it's volunteer.
So they're volunteers, so what's the money for?
Here's what we do. They are trained to work or requested tasked, I'll say, to work 2 hours a day, 4 days a week in the classroom. And so inside that classroom, what they're doing is we pair them with a teacher, right? So a teacher has to agree. And they're working with small groups or individual, maybe those students who may be behind or two in an assignment or skill, right? We have, and so that's what the mentor does, kind of pull out the assigned students who need extra help, right? So it's more than, I tell people, it's more than just being, extra body or an extra pair of hands. They're actually working, right? They're tasked with community service, which we provide options for them, as well as 3 hours a week of training, professional development training, which a lot of times includes, behavior management or, excuse me, or, literacy and, those skills that they'll need to help, work with the groups.
Are they working with kids?
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that they do 2 hours in a class and 3 hours also? So that's what, 5 hours a day for nothing?
So I'll say it again. So 2 hours a day, minimum in the classroom, 3 hours a week.
Okay, week.
For training. And then the community services, 1 hour every week or 4 a month.
Okay.
Now, once they put in 100 of those total hours, we give them a stipend of $1,000.
So they get paid. The other thing is, how do you go about being a parent that's put into this mentor program?
How do you become part of the program?
I mean, do you have to apply for this? I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely. So we just don't take anyone. So yes, so we recruit, right? And we meaning, it's usually Carolyn and Janet. They do my recruiting for me. And we interview them, background check them, train them before they get about 15 hours of training before they even get to a classroom.
So there is some compensation, yes. You also let me know before that a lot of them are putting in a lot more than the 2 hours
Oh,
a
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that we started to do, it's a partnership with the parent mentors, is I've met with them and Sam about getting them to start to work as employees for RCS. So we stole one of his parent mentors, I think, full-time. And then, which makes it hard for them, but that's part of the goal, is some of these folks getting them in, getting the job skills, being comfortable in a school. And then we have 2 that we have hired for 4 hours a day. So they'll come in and do their time with the mentor program, and then we'll also have them on as employees. So we're starting to blend it a little bit, but it's a way for us to get more support in the classrooms.
Right.
Are we gonna be able to get the names of these people that you're hiring? Meaning the 32 people that you're gonna have hired in, the 16 and 16.
Whatever names you want.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, they're.
I mean, you know,
and-
I didn't know if that was gonna be available to the board or.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Or to,
yeah.
well, I know it's gonna be available to the school, because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
working with the school, right?
Yes, they work with the school.
And they go through the same background check process as any of our employees or volunteers. There's a threshold for volunteering where we do the full background check. So they do the full background check.
And if I can go back to, so I said minimally 2 hours a day. Most of them are there all 8 hours, 6 hours, right? And so, as Dr. Woods was saying, being able to feel that, and so they don't get, from my side of it, they don't get counted, those extra hours beyond 2 in the classroom. Well, but they're still doing meaningful work. So the partnership, the agreement, being able to hire some of them on and provide some financial support, pay for them is great, is great. And yeah, it's hard to recruit parents and we especially, and then keep the good ones, but the good ones often do go beyond. And that's a testament to the program. That's a testament to the leadership that we have.
I just want to add that I had the privilege to come and see your parents in action last year.
Yeah.
And they're around the table like this, very impressed. You could tell that they have a heart to work with the kids and that they want to be there, and they really get into working with the kids and, have a bond with them. And some of these kids look up to them and they come each day just because they want to be with, like Miss Tori, the one we just hired. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And, and they teach these kids, simple math or, and these kids, by the end of the year, I heard many good stories that they blossomed. And I saw the program grow from the beginning when Stacy first brought it in. It's grown a lot, and thank you for everything you guys do. And the parents, mentors that are in the program, some are bilingual and some are, and they're amazing. Good job.
Yeah, well, it's a testament to what it means to be partners, right?
Yes.
Because both schools, right, as well as the district, has been so supportive of the program, and so it makes it easier to recruit. It makes it easier to tell, as mentors, because every day isn't a good day, right? To be able to tell them, hey, but here's the light at the end of the road, right? So thank you.
Good job.
Any comments, board? Sam, thank you.
If someone want to call the motion.
Oh,
I make the motion.
Thank you, Diane. Diana, you made some motion.
Motion to approve the item as presented.
Wait a second.
I'll second.
Other seconds?
All right, before we do the vote, I do want to clarify an item because actually the next 2 items on the list are on the agenda. Nikki has a closer relationship to both items. So I do want to share for the board and the public that I did check with our attorney. Nikki, it's perfectly reasonable for her to vote on items 6 and 7. Sam is her brother-in-law, if you didn't know that.
Her favorite brother-in-law.
But it is not considered a conflict of interest. However, a board member could choose to abstain to avoid the perception of a conflict of interest, but it is not by definition a conflict of interest. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Are you still on the board at the Champaign County Regional Planning Commission?
Yes, I'm on a few.
Okay, I think I was.
But that's also not it's unless, so you can abstain, but it's not a reason you should have to abstain.
I'm their grant manager.
Well, that is actually probably a reason. All right, so, well, there's 7 of us, so hopefully for Sam's sake, there's 4 yeses in there. Okay.
Cross your fingers, Sam, cross your fingers.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Tyler Wilson,
Aye.
Diana Mendoza,
Aye.
Nikki Pettit,
Abstain.
Modo Johnson,
Aye.
Katie Johnston,
Aye.
Tom Brotherton.
Aye.
And Robin Vaughn.
I abstain.
And we already said why, so,
Right.
okay, thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
See you out and about.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And now, next item.
Here, it's all over.
Item number 7.
Well, that's mine.
Pastor Little, if you want to come on
Kevin,
up.
you come up, please.
So we don't normally ask landlords to come to the meetings, but item 7 is the approval of the lease for pre-K. And since what it is, and I thought since it's the church and you, that we would want to come in and there might be some questions about it. So to go a little bit in review, as the board knows, because we've had a lot of closed sessions in the last 6 months, we anticipated having a lease on an existing preschool facility in Rantoul. We found out sometime in the last 2 months that that lease was not going to happen. And at the same time, we have made changes and moves across the district related to the anticipation of having that lease in place. So when that lease plan fell through, we had already looked at the Methodist Church there. Everybody knows where it is, right? 200 South Century, I think that's the address. We had already looked at it when we were considering locations for Rise Academy, the alternative program. The next step for us was, now that we did not have the lease, are there other viable locations that we could use for 1 school year until the district is able to come up with a better plan for the long-term housing of our pre-K program. So contacted Mr. Little, and we worked it out, and it is a much smaller amount than what we were going to pay for the other facility. Not much, it's half the price actually. So that sounds like a good discount. So we will be leasing, assuming the board approves it, the 2nd floor of the education wing. The education wing is the area that's overlooks the family video.
Right.
And so there's the education wing up there. We will have our own access from the east doors. So there's a parking lot and there's east doors into that. We go upstairs. We're working on the security pieces we need to put in. It's already got it locks and has a buzzer and those things on it. And we'll be up there for a year instead of half the kids at Broadmeadow and half the kids at Pleasant Acres. So while it's exciting, it's a good partnership. The church already has been outstanding to work with. They've got all the rooms cleaned up and they put in new flooring and some of them, all kinds of stuff we never even asked you to do. So we're happy. We appreciate that. And it's, hopefully in a way, a partnership. We can't do too much official partnering because they are a church. And so we do have to have some boundaries on that. I did work with our legal counsel just to clarify that this was an acceptable overlap. And in this circumstance, it is. We don't think it would have been an appropriate use of the space for the Rise Academy program for a lot of reasons, but this is a temporary plan. And if we had done Rise there, it would have probably been long-term. And then housing public school children in a church long-term would not really probably stand up. Anyway, anything you want to say or any questions for me and Pastor Little about how this is going to work?
I don't know that I have anything specific to add, just that, yeah, we've been really looking to move forward and make sure that it's as smooth as possible for everybody involved.
Are there gonna be other people in the building?
Dream uses 3 rooms on the lower part of the education wing. And then, my staff is typically in there 2 to 3 days a week. But there's nobody up on that floor. It's been largely unused for a number of years. So we're excited to have the space being used.
So we'll have our own entrance to go upstairs. And that's where, when I said we're working on the security pieces, there is a stairway on the other end. So we have to work on getting that so it's secured so that someone who comes in the front door of the church isn't wandering up there. And so those are just a small, there's not a lot we have to do with this space to get it ready since they cleaned it up and took care of the flooring and stuff. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are there elevators, ADA?
Nope.
Okay.
Not in that area, no.
No. So the question was, are there elevators? So fortunately, right now, we do not have any students or staff that require a wheelchair. Okay. We have a little bit of a contingency in there of what if that were to happen, and the church is aware that, like, if say we have, what's most likely is we'll have a parent come in who's disabled and can't do the stairs. So we would be able to do meetings and things like that on the first floor. If a student comes in, we're gonna have to really put our heads together about how we address that. But we do not currently have any wheelchair bound students. But otherwise, it's ADA compliant. I guess I should say that. It's just the elevator is not in that part of the building.
Thank you.
Okay. So the plan is, it is, just to be clear, and it's all in the lease, it's a $50,000 lease for the year. When are they starting moving if the board approves it? Monday. So we will
Like
actually,
it was happening today with everything that was going on.
yeah, so.
I know they're cleaning. I'm Hannah, by the way. We've been chatting a lot, but
Yeah.
I know that I've actually met you.
Yes.
So I'm the one that's been texting and calling you.
Yeah, I corrected your name on my phone while I was sitting over here.
So yeah, the plan right now is move on Monday.
Okay.
Can I give one more shout out before they do anything?
Certainly.
Because your church sent a whole group of students over to
Oh.
part of, and
The
they
trash
cleaned
can.
all the trash and we did everything around Ader. So we wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, there's, thank you.
Thank you so much. They've worked very hard.
Yeah, they did a lot in the church to get ready for this.
Yeah.
We worked them mercilessly cleaning those rooms out. So.
Well, hopefully we'll leave it in as good a shape. That's our plan. And when we leave is we are getting it now. So, all right.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I second it.
Robin Vaughn,
Aye.
Moto Johnson,
Aye.
Katie Johnston,
Aye.
Diana Mendoza,
Aye.
Nikki Pettit,
I abstain.
Tyler Wilson,
Aye.
John Brotherton.
Aye.
Nikki, do you want to provide your reason for abstention?
I go to the church, I'm on the board.
She's my finance chair.
Though that you would have to abstain on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were the finance chair. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
Now
you.
I'm gonna go to my meeting where we can vote on this also.
So actually, Kevin, we will, Mr. Brotherton will sign the lease after the board meeting today.
Okay.
And then Hannah will get the originals to you.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
I anticipate.
Because we'll need your signature too. Same thing for you, Sam.
Okay.
We'll get it caught up next week.
Okay,
Thank you.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
All right.
So I can raise information items.
All right.
For your request?
Oh, my goodness, yes, FOIAs. I have stumbled on to something. Local Labs, was one of the FOIAs, and Prairie State Wire, who are the other two FOIAs. You notice Vince Espy works for Local Labs and Prairie State Wires. The one from Josiah Chatterton is an exact copy of a FOIA we got 6 months ago from Vince Espy. So it appears that this is a company that is essentially possibly harvesting data, so to speak, to resell for media purposes. And so it's an interesting one. They don't respond when I ask, or me or Hannah ask them questions. So we get these very long FOIAs asking for all kinds of information. Is this what you meant? We'll ask, that's normal in the FOIA process, and we never hear anything, so. And they've apparently been sending these to every school district in the state. So, interesting.
It's not us.
It's not just us, so. There is no student discipline report. Should have taken that out. I did share with the board the summer school and retention report. Of note, item E is the tentative budget for the fiscal year for FY24, and just informing you that 30 days prior to the September board meeting, it will be posted. So that ends up being sometime usually. So yes, so it'll be posted 30 days prior to the September board meeting, which is usually actually before we have the August board meeting. Okay, so that's why I'm just letting you know it's going to get posted. It has to be on display for 30 days. At the September board meeting, we'll have the hearing, like we typically do to approve the budget, and hopefully the board approves the budget at that point. But Chris Johnson, our finance manager, is working on it right now with Jenny and I, and trying to figure it all out, because as you know, with schools, our funding, it doesn't all come in at one time to say this is how much you get. So item F is the draft superintendent evaluation that this was when I provided it for you last year. So then it's up to the board at this point, when I provide you the tool, that if you want to discuss the tool, those kinds of things, that's up to the board to do that at a future meeting or individually with each other. Okay. And then the evaluation occurs January, February. Okay. And it's in the tool that Matt had says that timeline. Okay.
New business? Anything? Board superintendent comments? Board have any comments? Oh, I do. I just have been very impressed with the way Ader, the landscaping that's been done back area, going back there, how nice that now looks. I try to walk on Saturdays to fish around Ader. I come back this way when I do my walk. And last Saturday, the blacktop was all in. So I could walk all the way through instead of going around this direction, because they had barricades down. Or at least the walkway through it. And I guess now it's lined and it's now been landscaped.
We're ready to open it
So
soon.
And also, we also landscaped, you guys, I should say we, school landscaped around the building. So if you look at Ader, where, it should be grass, now it's mulch and flowers, so it looks very nice. And I personally, I want all the buildings to look nice, but Ader is where school board, there's more things going on, registration goes, and they see it. And I want all the buildings to look good, but it's very heartwarming to me to see that this looks, so thank you.
Well, hopefully after the meeting, you'll feel free to go over to Ader, because it also looks really nice on the inside right now. So kudos to our facilities guys and our custodians. The buildings are coming along really well. We probably need to do a facilities update at the next meeting, because we do have the roof at East Lawn. Those things should all be finished. Well, they will be finished. And we can update you on the construction that's should be finished at Rise. Yeah, so there's a lot of activity right now out in the district.
And tomorrow's your movie day, is that right?
So yes, for some of us. There's some, so we start moving out of this building into the One Aviation Center. That's what we have to start calling it. And
that sounds better than AT&T.
It does sound better than AT&T. So we'll have some of our offices will be over there starting on Monday. We still don't have internet though, so we'll see how that goes. I'll figure it out. No, like for me, it's really just gonna be
Can and
me and
string.
Jenny
That'd
over
be
there.
good, wouldn't it?
The what?
A can and a string, that'd be good.
Yes.
Huh?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do we have any sort of projection when this space will move over there? Are we still planning to stay here for?
Yeah, so the lease we have with Promise Healthcare, who, they did 25 visitals today for our students during registration, so that's exciting. So they will have access Monday to the area that is my office, Jenny's office, Allison's, in that small conference room. So they'll start setting up in there to be able to do physicals and immunizations. Then I think the date is September 1st. They will have access to all of central office except this room and the offices. Okay, they'll be able to use this room because it's open. But then I think it's this end of December, we will no longer be using this space. So by January meeting, I have to figure out where we're having board meetings.
Okay.
Your friends over there.
I'm not driving. What did I do wrong?
So,
Dates are a little
the
off.
dates are a little,
Oh,
but
fine.
because I've been doing a lot of coordinating with the
Hannah's in
meetings.
charge of this, so.
So, the admin move is tomorrow, that's Scott, Allison, and Jenny, and then on August 24th is everything else except this room and HR. HR will be moving after the first, payroll, so like after September 15th.
September.
Yeah, they just don't want to be in the middle of moving and doing that first payroll of
That'd
the
be
year,
horrible.
which is always just a little wacky, so that's
September 15th is our first payroll for all new employees,
right.
so. And it's the first time all new employees get their new pay rate, so you gotta get that one right. All right, or all employees get their new pay rate, just about all.
Anybody else have any comments?
Is there a point when we can take a tour of the new building?
Yeah, we'll need to do that. I mean, that's up to the board too. We could, I don't think we're ready to hold a meeting there. Okay, so, but we could, I mean, you could come over anytime you want individually, okay? But yeah, we could do something where we go over as a group. But I was thinking we would host a meeting over there at some point. And then the public can come in also. But it is a construction zone right now for the junior high side for RISE. Those will be done, those classrooms. And we're not doing much on the other side where central office is. I said not much, we've put some carpet in and some painting, but we're not doing any construction other than a bathroom. So that was a piece that we included because for that huge facility, there was one set of bathrooms. And we wanted to make sure we had some private unisex bathrooms for adults to use, and then we may have students that need to use those. We don't right now, but we may. So.
Do you have a number on how many kids?
18 at the moment.
And, okay.
Yeah, and they're all coming in and registering, and so far they all seem happy. The parents do, at least, you know. So Mr. Henderson's been, he sent letters and made phone calls to all the kids that are going. And I think that happened before school got out, the first round. We met on Monday with all of the principals and talked about how future placements will work and his process that he'll do with, they'll primarily be aider. That will, right now, it's almost all 7th and 8th graders that'll be in that group of 18. And so he has a process kind of mapped out with the administrators when they get to a point where like, hey, we think we might have a student that needs to go there. The other piece to remember too is CARE is going to be there. And their classrooms will be over there too. And Mr. Henderson will oversee the kids coming in and out for that program also.
How do some school programs go? Pretty decent.
I think they went well, yeah. So the report in there is how many ended up being retained is really what that's about, and I don't have it open. But yeah, every kid that went at Aider made it. Yay. I think it said that we have a handful that are still gonna go to RISE next year, even though they still went to summer school. And our retention numbers are up this year. Is what I recall from the report. which I kind of anticipated that would happen with us kind of being more strict and having some stricter guidelines in there for it. Yeah, but the good news is we didn't have any repeat retainees. That's one of our concerns. Is the kids who might get retained twice, because now you're really behind. And you'll have a beard in 6th grade and avoid that. Did that answer your question? Yeah, and we are doing Jumpstart. I guess I'll throw that in because that's our the week before kindergarten starts. The week before school starts, the kindergartners come in and they have 1 week with their teacher for the kindergartners whose parents and kids want to do it. So we started doing that a couple years ago. All right.
Any comments? Okay, our next thing is closed session, but don't we have to read something?
We sure do.
And it's not on the.
We need to make a motion we can simply say we're making a motion to move to closed session for the purchase, sale, lease of property.
So we need to say.
We can
the rest
say
of the
that,
stuff.
yes.
Tyler, would you like to make the motion?
Make a motion to go to closed session for purchase, sale, lease of property.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Katie.
Robin Vaughn,
Aye.
Moto Johnson,
Aye.
Katie Johnston,
Aye.
Diana Mendoza,
Aye.
Nikki Pettit, Tyler Wilson,
Aye.
John Brotherton.
Aye.
And you can just do it in here. All right, does anyone want to take a break for 2 minutes, drink of water? We haven't been here that long.
Can I go do something? Otherwise I'm gonna be late.
Yes, and go down the hall though.
Well, I was gonna have, but Cindy showed me where I had to go.
Where am I taking you?
To the register.
Registration.
Oh, we are recording. All right.
How did you do that?
I didn't really-